Welcome back everyone. The 2nd of September and I want to do our drawing for the month. So let's get started with some sacred space and some fire. Right, so now that we have some beautiful flame of hope going there, I want to just set intention for this session. So I am just grounding myself and just focusing in on the month of September. And I'm going to do the 3 card and a bonus card drawing. And I'm going to be using again the beautiful Spirit Animal Oracle from Colette Baron Reid. And for the bonus card, I'm going to be drawing from the Art from My Heart Meditation and Symbol Inspiration deck created by Sandra Hushen-Hiddle. Beautiful deck, one of our very own creatively fit coaches, creative frequency coaches. She created that beautiful deck, and it's always nice to have somebody that's part of our very own tribe to use this beautiful creative deck. So beautiful creative inspiration to apply the lesson that we're going to be learning from our beautiful spirit animal guides. Now, it is quite an interesting astrological period that we are entering. There are a number of phenomena that is going to occur during the month of September. One of them being a lunar eclipse on the 7th of September, and eclipses bring very interesting energy to the foreground, and it really helps us to focus in on what is past, what is transpiring, and what is to come. So that is pretty much sort of the flow that I like to bring into my readings, and I like to just sort of work with that energy in that way. So I'm just going to shuffle these cards, and while I'm shuffling these cards, I'm just asking the universe for our spirit animal guides to show up, to show us the way, help us understand what is currently unfolding in our lives, and what steps we can take to move forward that is going to help us to live the life of our dreams, to make some changes in our world that sorely needs some unity and inspiration at this stage. So if a card falls out, I like to, 2 of them fell out. I like to incorporate that in my reading because I believe there's a reason why they fell out, but I'm also going to cut the deck and I'm going to use that card for the 3rd card. And I'm going to put these aside, and then I'm going to shuffle this beautiful deck. I'm going to shuffle it in a different way because it shuffles a little bit hard for me sometimes because the cards are so glossy and slippery. I find it challenging to shuffle the deck really. So I'm just going to also just break the deck. There we go. And that is going to be our bonus card for today. So I'm also going to put these ones aside. There we go. Right, so we're going to start with the first card, and my general sort of vibe about these cards are like past, present, future, what we've done, present moment, what could be done, that kind of flow. Because everything is connected, there's always an ebb and flow between energy, and I like to just use this divination oracle kind of drawing just to sort of ground myself in the present energy and to just familiarize myself with what's been going on. Talk about it as an attunement to your sort of awareness and listening or practicing to listen to your own gut feeling, intuitive sort of inspiration, but mostly how we interpret symbols is where I'm trying to get at. And all of these are symbolic. Everything on this table is symbolic. Me wearing this hat and this gown is symbolic. But symbolism has a lot of power, has a lot of energy, and carries a lot of information. And that is the important bit I'm trying to get to. So as I tune into my higher self, my own wisdom and my own understanding, I'm interpreting these symbols through my own subconscious mind. And what better way to get to know your unconscious but through symbolism? And that is also why I particularly like the work of Dr. Carl Jung, who was really a pioneer in bringing the psychology of symbolism to the masses, and to really understand that symbolism is far more profound than we give it credit. And before we get to esoteric, I like to just sort of ground this whole experience, because we're also supposed to have fun and play. And that is why I'm showing up in full cosplay costume, because sometimes we take ourselves too seriously. And I think it's a very good thing to just ground yourself and just connect again with your inner child, that innocent part of you that has never forgotten that we are part of the universe. There is no separation. We are all one, and everything is connected. We are star stuff. We came from star stuff, and we will return to star stuff. So don't take things too seriously. But symbology abounds all around us. Think about a stop street. There is a symbol. It's a very clear symbol, and everyone knows exactly what that symbol means. But more than that, it impacts our behavior. So when we drive along the road and we come to a stop street, we notice the symbol and we adhere to it. Every logo of your favorite brand, that is a symbol. It means something. There is meaning behind it. And everyone's perception of a symbol will be a unique pie shape of the reality around it. I had tea with a wise lady one day, and this is what she shared with me. While we were having tea, she was pouring it into our beautiful teacups, and she had this beautiful porcelain, and there was some cake and everything. And as she put the teacup down in front of me, she put it in a very deliberate way. She didn't turn the handle to the side like this. She turned the handle towards me. And she went and she sat down, and I thought, okay, that's interesting. And she said, before you drink your tea, I would like you just to answer me a question. Can you explain to me what you see from your perspective? Describe the teacup. So I described the teacup. It's a purple teacup, and there's a crown on it, and there's tea in it, and the handle is pointing towards me, and it's this big, and it's whatever. So I described the whole scene, and she said, that's very interesting, because some of what you describe I can't see. I don't see the handle that you talk about. Now, she's viewing the cup from this point of view, but I'm viewing my cup from this point of view. So she said, this is the interesting thing about the universe, about symbols and about perception, human perception. Each of us see our own reality, but it overlaps, just like this sort of teacup example. She can only see the front, I can only see the back. So when we describe the cup, she can say, but you're wrong, there is no handle, because she can't see the handle. But I'm not lying, because the handle is on my side, she just can't perceive it. And the same for vice versa. So this is the wisdom that came out of that for me, is that even though somebody says this is a handle-free cup because they can't see the handle, doesn't make it the truth. But it also doesn't make it a lie, because in my reality, there is a handle upon which I can pick this cup up. So this is for me, it sort of opened my understanding to sort of see that everyone's perspective is valid, and no one person is right and the other person is wrong. That's very dualistic, and obviously, you know, when there are situations where right is right and wrong is wrong, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking from a philosophical point of view. So don't be so tight in your perception and in your orientation that you are not able to hear wisdom that applies to your life. Always have an open mind and always test information that comes to you. And if it's meant for you, I believe there's a beautiful thing like synchronicity, and that synchronicity is there to remind you that all of these dots connect. It's as simple as that. So I like to sort of hear a message, and I'm going to digest it through my own subconscious and higher self understanding of these symbols. But maybe something will stand out for you and it will resonate with you, and maybe it will already be a synchronicity, and I hope for that. And the rest you can take with a pinch of salt. So no seriousness intended in this. It's really for me an energetic reading of the month of September for us as creatives, and what we are dealing with in the collective field at the moment. And if you find this message encouraging and supportive, then great. And if you don't resonate with it at all, don't judge it, just let it go, move on to the next thing, and let it be valuable to those who find it valuable. That's what I sort of want to say with this. So cheers. Having a cup of tea with the wizard. Alrighty, so I'm going to turn over the first card and see what this reveals. Beautiful. That is just lovely. Now, normally I would use the description pack of the author, but for these readings I like to disregard that, because that can be a very fixed perspective again on the symbolism and what the author intended, and that for me at this present moment is not 100% relevant. For me, it's just the symbol and what will come up in my spirit, and I will digest it, and if I feel I want to add something later, then I will do so. But for now, for our beautiful, forgive me, Swan Spirit, time for a deep dive. I think the month of August was very spiritual. We're looking here at the number 60, 6 being the numerology of spirituality, and 0 being a new beginning, or actually, it could also be conclusion. A swan is such an interesting spirit guide, because one of the things of swans is they are very emotional beings, and they mate for life, which is really beautiful. They remember their partners even if they've been separated for years, and they develop a particular dance with each other, with their necks intertwining, and that is just so beautiful. If you're ever in a position to witness that for yourself, it's absolutely gorgeous. And what I see around the swan here is beautiful magnolia flowers as well. And this swan is wearing a crown. I know that swans can sometimes, especially black swans, can be symbols of the afterlife. And for me, in a way, this was a celebration of life. It is a celebration of life. This swan is wearing a crown, and she is saying that we must embrace our higher self, and wear our own truth like a crown. These three flowers are quite symbolic to me in the way that magnolia flowers are one of the oldest flowers on the planet. It actually still exists from dinosaur time, and these flowers are actually pollinated by beetles and not by ordinary insects. So it's quite interesting, that connection. And these flowers have just a beautiful simplicity and essence about them. And the mere fact that there are three of them in this picture for me is also like the maiden, the mother, and the crone, or the young one, which is, you know, the new generation, the current generation, and the older generation. So it's generational in a way. So for me, it connects with the journey of the soul, because the swan can also represent the soul. And up until now, we have been on a beautiful journey of discovery. To some, it might feel like sudden death. To some, it might feel like being exposed to the hereafter, in the sense that the veil is very thin during these astrological periods. And the month of August, for me, sort of, if I look at this as a card from the past, we've just finished August, I can sum up sort of this card from that perspective, that we've gone on a deep dive in August. We had a deep spiritual sort of journey and awakening, or some seeds have been planted that is about to flower. Now, here in the southern hemisphere, today, and well, actually yesterday, was Spring Day, so it's the official day of spring. And the pink and beautiful peachy tones in this image really talks to me of that beautiful spring, new life, new birth, a new beginning, a new journey. And I would love to hear whatever this card is saying to you. So why don't you drop me a comment and tell me what instantly came up in your spirit when I turned this card over and you saw this beautiful swan. I would love to hear your feedback as well. For my magic charm tier, I'm going to basically conclude the reading there for you guys. If you want to continue unfolding this journey going forward, then you can join me on the higher tiers, because my creative potion tier is going to get the next part of the story. Right, we continue with this beautiful reading for the month of September. So I'm going to turn the second card around. Oh my word, this is so interesting. We've got here the turkey spirit. Give with gratitude and grace. This is the number 61, and it's definitely a journey or a step up from card number 60. Now, I'm not too familiar with the turkey, but I know that it connects with Thanksgiving, especially to my friends in the United States. But the turkey to me is also a very interesting animal, and it has beautiful characteristics. They can be quite feisty and very defensive of their territory. So I'm going to go with that this present moment for me is all about just giving thanks and just living in grace, being present with what is unfolding, rise above your challenges, and always remember that one thing is connected to the next. Nothing, for example, happens to arrive on your table if we're going to talk about Thanksgiving. I know it's a bit early for Thanksgiving celebrations, but let's talk about that for a minute. The food doesn't arrive on your table by itself. It is a sea of people that has been involved in producing the food that ends up on your table. Even if you have cultivated every single thing that you are eating on your plate, you will know how much effort you needed to put in. So when we look at what arrives in our life, let's look at it from a consumer point of view. Let's just be grateful for a minute and recognize that everything that you consume, whether it be clothing you buy, food you buy, anything you buy, it was produced and created. It had an original idea. It was manufactured, or it was farmed. It was created. It was manufactured. And from there, it's gone to the next stage where it was packaged and advertised and or brought to a place of sale, like a supermarket, or an app on your phone that you can order from. And from there, it has gone into bags and it's gone into vehicles to be transported to where you are. And from that point onward, there is a whole journey that product or food item that you've bought goes through in your life. So it's not just magic. It doesn't just appear. There was a lot of effort, sweat, blood and tears that has gone into creating that product and or item. So when we give thanks for what we receive on our table, let us think a little bit beyond the mere fact that you are blessed enough to receive in that moment, but recognize the amount of people that was involved in some way, whether it was to plant the seed, to wet the seed, the ground, to nourish it, to harvest it, to pick it, to package it, to send it, you name it. You can already see that there was at least 5 people involved in getting the thing that you are having on your table to your table. So today, for me, this turkey reminds me that, your gratitude should go a little bit deeper than just we are grateful to eat, but to recognize and bless everyone whose hands and physical energy was required for this product or food item to appear on my table. So then we start to look at everything around us with a different value, rather than just, this is the price, this is what you pay, you buy it, you eat it, you consume it, it's done with. It's far more than that. So recognize that gratitude also shows respect and appreciation for the effort that it takes to make the world go round. So that is a beautiful sort of realization as we connect these cards to see that we're on a beautiful spiritual journey, some new empowerment is flowering from our consciousness, and maybe make a connection with the generations and the role that plays on the journey of the soul, to look at gratitude and grace. And I'm going to add kindness, because we don't want to kill the turkey. We want to see it live. So that is just beautiful. Okay, so if you want to continue on this journey, then I'll see you on the next tier. Bye-bye for now. Right, so we are ready to continue with the reading for the month of September, and this is the 3rd card, and this is for my transfiguration tier, and we are looking at the month of September and what we can expect as creatives as we are on this current journey. Very interesting that we have 3 birds in today's reading for September, and the last card that I have here is the hummingbird, and this beautiful animal is reminding us to be here now. There's an important reason that we are here now. 4, 5, 6, 7. This is number 34, and the numerology there adds up to the number 7, which is really again connecting to our higher self as well, a higher truth. So we've got this incredible journey of 3 different birds, each very graceful in its own way. I will basically even go as far as saying that the hummingbird is such a spiritual bird for me, because it really lives on this beautiful high frequency of bliss. It literally lives off, flour, sugars and syrup, and it is the tiniest bird, and it has the most incredible strength of wing. It is able to hover in one place, fly forward and backward like an insect, and is able to really just dance from one flower to the next, almost invisible. And what I like about the hummingbirds and their incredible high frequency energy is that they remind us to really just connect with our own bliss and our own joy, and to recognize that all of our power only lies in the present moment. They really have very tiny stomachs, and they have to constantly eat. So as sad as that sounds, it really is actually quite amazing, because it just shows you that they are so trusting in the universe and in the flow of life, that they know that there is always abundance, there's always more than enough in the present moment. Enjoy the sweetness of life. So whatever sweetness is flowing to you at this present moment, and as we go forward into this beautiful month of September, remember to be grateful for it, and to share where you can. Share with those around you. Pay it forward, because knowing that you can never outgive the universe, that in the spirit of the hummingbird, there's more than enough in the present moment. Have your fill and be drunk on beautiful life, because there's enough negativity out there. Rise above the negativity and really look within yourself. It is when we are on this beautiful spiritual journey, we can be as graceful as swans, we can be as tough as turkeys, and we can be as sweet as hummingbirds. So I really think that September is going to bring us a very interesting transformation. I see the divine feminine present in this reading in the form of birds, and birds to me is that sort of female kind of connection. Don't get me wrong, I know there's very strong males in the bird family, but I'm picking up a very female vibe for the month of September, and I really think that that is going to be a wonderful journey. Lots to be grateful for. Enjoy the sweetness of life. Recognize the journey that you are on. Honor your lineage, and be grateful and be in the present moment. So hopefully you find this reading at least inspiring and helpful for the month of September. So if you want to find out what the bonus card is, join me on our beautiful Wizard's Apprentice tier. I'll see you guys there. Bye bye for now.